Hi, I'm Mike Holt with MikeHolt.com, and got an interesting video we're going to do tonight. But the first thing I want to do is just thank God for giving me the ability to make a difference in the lives of others. And I hope I do a good job tonight. All right, guys, let me tell you what we're doing tonight. We're going to make a video that you're going to be able to have and pass on to other people. And this first video is about getting somebody to get into the trade. We've all had this conversation that the average age of the electrician is 55 or something like that. We can't get the young people in the trade. So I'm hoping to make this video with your help. You have the chat feature at MikeHolt.com/live. Please go there. You have the ability to chat. Brian, can they also post things in other mediums and get it to me?
They can go to MikeHolt.com live, and they can also jump on to YouTube or Facebook. If they post there, okay, it'll be a little slower to get it over, but we've got guys kind of watching those to get that stuff over to live as well.
So as I go along, let me give you some idea what I'm going to be covering. Is why get into the electrical trade. Now would be a great time for you guys to start typing some stuff. If you could take a young person and tell them, listen, this is why you want to get into this trade, please give me that feedback now. The next thing is, what are the concerns that they might have? Well, I don't know if I could be an electrician because I heard you need to have this or that. So give me some feedback now. Say, Mike, well, the guys that are trying to get in the trade, they're really worried about this. They're really worried about that. They're concerned about this, because I want to be able to touch those things. And then the last thing I want to be covering is like, well, where could you work? I mean, who could you work for? I mean, the coolest thing is I got a call from somebody at the FBI uses my training material for their FBI agents. Guess what? Makes sense. They're electricians that are FBI agents, because when they do FBI stuff, they need electricians in there to do FBI stuff to be able to whatever they do. I don't know. He wouldn't tell me what's going on. So here's what I need from you. Tell me now why they should get into the trade versus, let's say, something else. 2, what concerns you think they might have that I need to be able to be anticipating, and then Brian will get the comments, and then we can record that. And the third thing is, like, what's the opportunities? Who can you work for? You ready for that? All right, Brian, already, thank God. I probably should say, all right, Brian, you're going to put something in there about, because I don't have an intro slide. You know what I'm saying? Okay. You ready, set, go? Hi, my name is Mike Holt with MikeHolt.com. And if you get a chance, go to MikeHolt.com, click on videos, and right there in the beginning is the Mike Holt story. Now, I'm not going to get into the details now because I already have that in the video that's on our website. You're watching this video because for some reason you're thinking, maybe I want to be an electrician. By the way, if you're not 18 and you have parents that might be helping you making a decision, have them watch this particular video. What am I talking about here? I'm talking about being an electrician. And it is the coolest thing in the world. As a matter of fact, first thing before going there is let's go into some of the perks of the trade. What happens when you're an electrician? So Brian, I'm going to go ahead and get this thing started here. And this cool guy right here, that's Charles Michael Holt Jr. That's my son. And he goes 2 or 3 times to the North Carolina line. There's something called about the Dragon with a bunch of guys, and hopefully he doesn't get killed. He has a backup bike and a trailer, and he goes up there with the guys, and he's amazing. By the way, my son is an electrical contractor. Guess what? You'll see him later on in the video. He did not want to be an electrician. I made him be an electrician, but I'll have to tell you that story. That's because he became a dad at a pretty young age. Now, as my son, he also been riding dirt bikes since forever, so he has, I don't know how many dirt bikes he has, and he's super fast, very, very fast. Oh, you know what? You got to have some stand-up jet skis as he goes out in the ocean, and he does that all the time. He plays hard. He's an adrenaline junkie. As a kid, I mean, he broke everything. He was just, oh my gosh. He was the toughest kid I had. I have to tell you that. I don't know what was going to happen to him. And guess what? He listened to his dad. He paid attention, did exactly what I said. He didn't want to be an electrician because it was dirty, Dad. It's hot, it's construction, all that other stuff. I'm like, I don't care. You got a baby, you're taking care of your baby, get an electrician, and do anything else you want to. Well, now, and when you're an electrical contractor, you hear this once in a while. Hey, Dad. I'm like, what, son? He goes, I love electrical contracting. That means that he's doing well, and he's making very good money. He has the flexibility to do whatever he wants to do. That's just one facet of the electrical industry. Eric Stromberg, a good friend of mine here, he works for the lab in Los Alamos, and he's an electrical engineer. He was an electrician, and that's a path that he took. See, what's cool about being an electrician is that you're going to be able to do anything. We'll talk about that in a minute. Let's talk about perks right now. Sorry. You just get too excited about electricity. I want you to be an electrician is what I'm trying to tell you. All right, Brian, tell us what's going on here. And this is your photos here.
All right, Mike. So that's actually the front of one of my guys that I employed, very young guy. And that's in front of his detached garage, in front of his house, with his Jeeps, and all of that is built and paid for. And I think I don't even think he's 30 yet. He's in his late 20s. What's not in the picture is all the rest of his toys, because he has lots of them. This is another buddy of mine. And actually, I don't know if that one or the next one is a video, but that's one of his toys. See if we got a little pull behind barbecue grill, and that lake is in his backyard. And just hit play on that next one. It's a video. And yeah, hit play on that baby.
Okay.
Just see how cool this thing actually is. And this is just a guy that works with his hands every day. But he decided, he does a lot of welding and fabrication, and decided he wanted to build himself a toy. And
that's good.
Lots of toys there. I mean, this thing's got stereos and bikes and dirt bikes.
Look at the size of that puppy.
It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy, the stuff that these guys are doing.
Oh, fat tire.
Yeah, too. He's got dual fat tire bikes. Coolers built into the seats. I mean, here's the thing: you got to have a reason to do what you're going to do. I mean, you get satisfaction in your work, but what do you get out of your work besides satisfaction? Yeah, and I got to tell you, he enjoys his toys. That's my wife and I actually on a trip with our 4 kids out to Colorado for mountain bike nationals. And, I'm just an electrician too, Mike. I mean, 19 years old, I took my very first Mike Holt class. But before that, I mean, I'm a dyed-in-the-wool 3rd-generation electrical contractor. I mean, I grew up 8 years old. My dad had me out there trying to put wires on the side of a receptacle. So I came up in the trade. I love my trade. I love what I do. I love what I do now, too. I don't get to use my hands as much, but I love what I do.
Well, like I was saying, you came in as a 3rd-generation electrician, then you became an electrical contractor, and now you've evolved yourself that ultimately you're going to be doing my job, because one day Mike Holt's going to be gone here, but Mike Holt Enterprises needs to continue on for the next generation. So look how the world left, simply because, now you didn't want to be an electrician,
No, as a matter of fact, there were 3 things that I never wanted to do. I never wanted to be an electrician. I never wanted to own my own business, and I definitely never wanted to own a family business. And I did all 3 of them, and that actually got me where I'm at today. So apparently God had a little different plan in mind than I did, that's for sure.
All right. And this is
our buddy James.
Oh, this is
James Bauer.
Yeah, it's James. Yep. That's right. Yeah, that's right.
And he races mountain bikes with us here in Florida. That's me and you. I had to throw that in there. That was a fun trip that we did there. Downhill mountain biking.
Downhill mountain biking.
Lots of mountain bike toys.
Yeah.
I won't even go into mountain bikes. I'll be here all night talking about those babies. I know you will too. And this was taken off the back of a buddy of mine's boat. Now, this is an interesting story here because go to the next picture there. This guy here is actually in a different version of the electrical industry than we are. He is actually a electrical supply house manager. And so he went into the distribution side of things, and his passion is fishing. So he spends all his money on fishing rods and fishing poles and boat's got a super. You can't. I don't have a good picture of his whole boat, but it's a really, really expensive, nice boat. Again, electrical industry paid for that baby. He likes catching big fish. If you guys watch any of the fishing TV, you've seen him. So yeah, just a couple of different things that are definitely perks in my mind to being in the electrical industry. I know I sure love the electrical industry.
I hope that you become an electrician. Now watch. Once you're an electrician, it's like you're in a Marine. You're always an electrician. And the beautiful part of being an electrician, that's your entry level. That's when you get into the trade, and then you decide where you're going to go to. And we'll talk about all the different paths. So let me just kind of do a review of some of the reasons you might want electricity. Financial security. You see all those toys? It takes money, okay? It takes work. But let me tell you something. It isn't just a guy that's just pulling wire and putting in receptacles. Those guys are the cream of the crop. We've got to talk about how you get there. Job satisfaction. It's the coolest thing. When you're an electrician, or if you've ever been around an electrician, they drive down the street somewhere and say, you see that building over there? I put in those lights on the outside there. You see that building over there? I hook up that generator side there. There's a sense of ownership. There's a huge amount of job satisfaction. You just feel good about it. Now, I know that you might be watching this, you're really young, and you don't know anything about job satisfaction, all that stuff. And you know what? This might not be the time for you to watch this video. Maybe you got to wait a year or 2 or 3 or 5 or 10 and say, you know what, I've never seen that one video about being an electrician. I'm going to watch that again. So, see, when you become an electrician, you got to be ready. You got to say, this is what I want. And you're going to, or at least I think I might want it, or I don't know if I want it, but I'm going to give it everything I have. Ability to be creative. Listen, nothing goes perfect. You have to adapt. You have to adjust. And the cool thing is every day it's a different job. It's a different responsibility. I mean, if you don't like working in an office, you know what I mean? You just like, I want to be outside. I want to be free. You know what? You become an electrician, it doesn't cost you to get trained. You're going to get into an apprenticeship program through the IBEW or the Independent Electrical Contractors Association. There might be some high school programs. There might be some community college programs. Or you might go independent study and just simply come to us. And we have all the tools and all the training to get you all the way to be that successful electrical contractor or help you get to be an engineer or whatever you want. And job mobility, let's say you decide, you know what, I think I want to move to Boston, or I want to be in a city, or you know what, I'm tired of city, I want to get to Colorado, or I want to go out in New Mexico. I'm in New Mexico, I'm riding my mountain bikes out here. You can go anywhere you want. You decide, I want to go to Alaska. I don't know if I want to live there. Then you go to Alaska. Guarantee you're going to get a job. You're an electrician. Are you kidding me? Everybody needs electricians all the time. And you know what? It's cool being an electrician. We have a tendency to be a little arrogant. That's just part of being an electrician. So if you're a little arrogant person naturally, you're going to fit in really great. I'm working on that skill. I'm not doing that well, but I'm still working on that part. Brian, were you going to say something?
Yeah, Mike, I really have a passion for this. You obviously know that I love working with the youth, and I deal with a lot of our apprenticeship programs and our self-study customers. And I will tell you this, and I'm very easily bored. I have to be changing all the time. When I opened my business, believe it or not, to not be an electrical contractor. I was going to do IT infrastructure. I was going to do networking, which, by the way, is all electrical. And one of these nights, we're going to talk about power over Ethernet and how cool that is, which is super techy and electrical. But I'll tell you, Mike, I did stuff. I did access control. I did CCTV cameras. We installed hundreds of generators. That's a whole industry in and of itself. Like every time I got bored, it seemed like some little facet of the industry would catch my attention. And fire alarm and IP camera systems. And I mean, just our industry has so much to offer. And you said something earlier that really just kind of caught me, and that is you're not stuck in an office. And even as technical as a lot of the stuff I did was, I would find myself out in some of the coolest places doing work. I mean, it is just inspiring to be an electrician. And it's something that you're like, okay, I'm on a military facility and I have to do this job and I have to get from point A to point B. And there's all these obstacles in the way. And it's up to me to be creative and figure out how to get there and work with the engineer who also is an electrical guy. And maybe that's the field you want to go in. But I got to work with the engineer. I got to work with the customer. I got to work with my project managers, my estimators. It was just so cool.
Well, you might want to be an electrical engineer. You might be like a really smart person. You love math. You love all that stuff. Let me tell you something. You want to be an electrical engineer? Perfect. Be an electrician so that you're working in the trade, you're making money, and you're learning what you're going to be designing later on. You're going to be like the most amazing engineer like Eric Stromberg. Now, Brian, you were talking about...
Yeah, exactly, Eric. I was saying exactly. Eric is the perfect example of that.
Now, Brian, you're talking about access control and networking, all that other stuff. My eyes glaze over. You know what? I don't really care about any of that. That wasn't me. So I didn't go into that world. You were going to be what were we going to?
Okay, so what I originally was going to go to college for was nuclear physics. I wanted to be a physicist, and then I found out how much they made and decided that might not have been the direction I wanted to go, and so my life went a little different direction from there.
But your intellect took you a different direction. It ended up coming back here as far as because you handle the digital design of our training and our curriculums and our apprenticeship programs. So my point is this: whoever you are, if you like, I'm more mechanical. I enjoy the mechanical part of it, but also what I found out later on, because I did go to college later on for business, I found out I liked managing people. I didn't know who I was. I was a young person. All right. Anybody else have any comments about why you should get into trade?
Well, I'm just thinking about instructors. Like, this is something that I talk to instructors every day, and a lot of these guys are electricians, and they had this passion to teach, and they became an instructor. I mean, in school, they're a teacher. That came out of the electrical industry. We have a crazy industry. It's awesome.
All right, so wonderful and great and all this other stuff, but... Mike, I didn't finish high school. Okay, just so you know, I didn't finish high school. I got a young baby girl at a very young age, so I had to start learning to take care of a family. And I was in a gang in Miami. So here I'm a gang guy in high school, became a father at a young age, had to drop out of high school, get out of the gang, and start taking care of myself. Okay? So I was pretty intimidated, and I tried to get into the union because that's a good structure way to get into. The independent electrical contractors wasn't around at that particular time, and at least it wasn't my area there, so I had no way to get into the trade. And so I tried to get in the trade, and somehow I had somebody lie for me, say, oh yeah, he worked in the trade to get in the trade. We'll talk about how you get in the trade. One thing is getting in the trade. Okay, let's do it right now. You can go to the ibew.org, I'm sure is the website. IEC.org. You can probably check with community colleges and high schools and find out all of that. And if that isn't a way for you to get in, check it all out, contact me. Because we have a program for the pre-apprentice to get you the curriculum, what you need to do, so that when you complete that, you're going to get a certificate. Then you're going to go to an electrical contractor, and you're going to say, Mike Holt told me when I finish this course to tell you to hire me, because I'm motivated. I'm ready to go. I guarantee you're going to get a job. So that's how you could get in there. But one more step before that, you might be thinking, okay, Mike, I didn't finish high school. Let's look at the slide here. I have ADHD. I don't know if you know this, but if you do some research on ADHD, they actually do better than people that don't have ADHD in certain areas. That's just a fact. That's actually a gift. Brian talked about getting bored. Oh my gosh, you have no clue how long it takes me to get bored. We're talking instantly, I'm bored. I mean, I got to do something different. I mean, I would get up in the mornings, I got to go all over the place. So I'm kind of like ADHD. Dyslexia, I don't have dyslexia, but I can't tell you how many people that have taken my class and say, Mike, I got dyslexia. I'm like, listen, that's not a problem. That's not a problem at all. High school, listen, I didn't see the value of high school, to be honest with you. I did want to go to college because you know what I wanted to be? I wanted to be an astronaut. I wanted to be a scientist. I wanted to go into space. See, I was around when they landed on the moon in 1969. I was like 18 years old. I was like, oh yeah. Well, that didn't happen because I got a little baby girl I'm taking care of. Doesn't matter if you didn't finish high school. Doesn't really matter at all. We don't care. Now watch, you're going to finish high school, so don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying ADHD, dyslexia are not things you're going to have to work with, but that's not a big deal. We can work with you on that. You're active, you can't sit down, you're getting around. It's like, man, you got to give this guy some, what do they want to give the kids today all the time? They want to give it, I forget. That drug to the kid. Listen, some guys and some ladies, same thing. Ladies are out there. There's like 5% of the industry now that are ladies, and that's kind of cool. Math and English, you're not good at math? Listen, stop. Don't do that to yourself. Maybe people told you you're stupid, you're not smart, you're not. Listen, I'm telling you all these things because it was me. And I'm sure other people the same way in the electrical trade. Brian, we had David. Did David have a struggle before getting in high school? Check with him on that. If there's something that maybe he can contribute here.
I'll check with him right now.
Anybody else? Okay, I have somebody sent me an email. We were just having some conversation. I thought, man, he understands that these young people coming in are afraid and they have this fear. Listen, I would never suggest anybody to go to college who has a desire to be able to try to be an electrician. I say go to electrician first and then go to college. But I wouldn't go to college and then get student debt and get done with that and become a bartender or whatever it is that you might become because you didn't really know what you wanted. Go to college because you know that you know what you want and you know what college degree you need to go to. Perfect. As long as you're willing to take $50,000, $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 in student debt and you did the calculation that you actually in a lifetime make more money by having all that student debt. So you make those decisions. I'm not saying not go to college. I'm saying maybe you're not sure what it is, be an electrician, and then you have a better idea. Brian, anything with David there? Okay. All right. I tell you what. Brian, why don't you show the video of my son and I? I just found this video like about 2 weeks ago, and I happened to run into it. And then I decided to make this video. I'm like, oh, I remember this video. This is my son and I sitting around talking about, this is like 5 years ago. Today, of course, he's more mature, and he's making more money. And it's a pretty cool experience, but you can see what a young person is and real close to your age possibly in getting in the trade.
Hi, I'm Mike Holt with Mike Holt Enterprises, and I have my son, Michael Jr. And son, this particular video is going to be focused to the person who actually has a job, who's going to start work next Monday. And we want to have them have an opportunity to get some insight as to what is the electrical trade about? What am I going to do? What can I expect? So let me just get started. First of all, it's really difficult for the industry to take somebody who has no experience.
And that's considered a green person.
Yeah, it's green. And
fresh.
Fresh, and it's green, and it's a lot of work and a lot of energy. So one of the things that we need you watching the video here to be aware of is that when you go to the job site and when you start working for an electrical contractor, you have a huge responsibility to prove to them that there is a reason that they want to keep you and make the investment of the time and the energy that it takes to make them. It's going to take a year or so before they even become really productive for you.
The main core principle and value in that person wanting to be an electrician is your personal attitude. Is knowing that, okay, I'm going into a brand new industry, I know nothing, I know that I can get somewhere with it, and if I work hard, someone's always watching me. You've got to put in the effort that takes in the beginning. It's going to be hard, it's going to be difficult, you're not going to know what you're doing, you're going to anticipate certain things, you're going to do it wrong, or they're going to tell you to do it, and you're going to do it 7 times wrong. Someone's going to come in and do it after the fact, they're going to do it in twice the time less.
So there's a frustration level.
It's frustrating to work with things you don't know what you're doing, absolutely.
But the important thing is you need to get to work on time. You have a guy that doesn't always make work on time, right?
Mm-hmm. I have a young electrician that works for me, and his punctuality is a little difficult.
But his future doesn't look that good, right? As it could be for somebody who's there all the time, who's making the effort.
And I'm watching his attitude. I'm noticing his mannerisms. I'm watching him on the job.
Now, listen, when you go to a job, you're going to be frustrated. Sometimes you're going to be digging trenches. You're going to be a gopher, right? A gopher means?
Go for this, go for that, gopher. Meaning you're going to be the helper. You're going to be the go-to guy to get everything that he needs for your main lead man. So your entire job is to get everything your electrician needs. And he's going to tell you to do this, and he's going to be frustrated with you because he's not going to have the patience to work with a new person. So it's going to take time for you to build a relationship with your foreman. But then you guys start to work together.
But if he respects you, if he sees that you're working hard, you're making a concerted effort, then he can appreciate the inconsistencies, the lack of experience that you have. My encouragement to you is this. When you go to the job for the first day, make sure you have the proper tools. We have a specific video on tool selection, so make sure you watch that video on tool selection. Go with a great positive attitude. Realize that it's going to be hard. It's going to be frustrated. Realize that you're going to be digging trenches. You're going to be crawling in attics. You're going to be doing all kinds of mechanical work, and you're going to be sweating. But there's a sense of satisfaction. Am I right about that?
Oh, absolutely.
You get done with a hard day's work, and you're like, man, I killed it.
Yep.
I'm exhausted. I'm so tired. I don't even want to eat. I just want to just lay on the floor.
Or you're part of a company and a team of, because normally there's more electricians, not just 1 or 2. There might be 4 or 5 on a job, or even more on a commercial project. And you guys are all working together, building a massive project.
Plus the other trades.
And you work on all the other trades, and you work on all these other people. It's a lot of fun. But with your trade and your electricians and your company, you guys get to look back and build this piece of equipment on the service or the generators or whatever it is, but you get to build stuff, and it looks cool to sit back and watch, wow, I built that and it runs because of me.
But I suggest those of you getting started, it's going to be frustrating. Pay your dues. Not a negative thing. Do what you got to do. Build credibility, gain skills, continue your education, continue with the Mike Holt apprenticeship training program or any other apprenticeship training program that you're working through, and you will notice, and no matter how long do you think it takes before somebody can start feeling good about themselves?
It all depends on how much effort they put into it.
Oh, that's a good point.
Number one, you want to surround yourself around people who are going to give you positive feedback and uplift you and encourage you and motivate you and keep you on track and keep you enthused and excited, because it can get boring and bland pretty quickly. So you want to make sure that you surround yourself around a good circle of influence of strong, motivated individuals. How long does it take for you to become familiar or comfortable?
Be comfortable. Let you feel like
Again, it's a function of how much effort you put into it. So it all varies on each
it
person.
could take what, 6 months?
It could take 3 months, 6 months, a year. I mean, the time is up to you and what you want to progress. But remember, it's long-term end in mind. So you're starting this towards a goal.
I can just say this: this is an amazing industry. If you can stick with it and get past the initial stages of the difficult stages of getting started, I think you're going to find out that it's going to be very, very rewarding and where you can take your industry and your success.
You know, you get to build things. You get to tinker. In my case, you get to mess stuff up. When I first started, you're part of a brotherhood, kind of. You know, you can. My dad's got a code forum. You can join the code forum and network with other electricians and other contractors and other electricians who are just starting out, and maybe come up with ways that, hey, this is what's working better for me, and you just network with other people, and you're working with electrical power. You get to. I mean, it's important. I mean, your house runs on it. Your restaurant. The recording video that we're dealing with today is run by an outlet charged from AC power.
Okay.
I mean, and then you break down electricity onto the theory part of it. That's really cool. Then you start getting into the molecules and the electrons and the valence shell and the basic electrical theory part of it, which is really cool.
Well, son, thank you again.
Thank you very much for
And
having me.
I hope you stick with the trade.
Yep.
And God bless.
Okay, so you can see what my son's passion was, and you see that he struggled, but he stuck with it. He's so happy that see, you don't know what you want until you try. Brian, unless you have any comments, I'm going to just kind of highlight some pretty cool people that's out there in Instagram that are apprentices. All right, first thing I'd like you to take a look at, this is on Instagram, Introvert Electrician. He's only been in the trade 18 months. And look at, he has 6,700 followers. Is that crazy? And this caught my eye, this particular post right here. And I'm thinking, what is that he's sitting on? So I looked at it, and let's see if we can find it. This is Steve Jobs. Here's what Steve Jobs says. When you grow up, you tend to get told that the world is the way it is, and your life is just to live your life inside the world. Try not to bash into the walls too much. Try to have a nice family life. Have fun. Save a little money. That's a very limited life. Life can be much broader once you discover one simple fact. Everything around you that you call life was made up by people that were no smarter than you. And you can change it. You can influence it once you learn that you'll never be the same again. And I thought, Devon, oops, sorry, one here. If I get here, let me go right back here. Look at that. 18 months in the trade. Let's see what happened here. Oh, well. Okay, good. He's posing like Steve Jobs. And so I called him up. I'm like, you bought the ultimate library? That's the ultimate. If you take a look back here, I don't know if you can see, Brian, if you go wide here, this is the books. And then, of course, we have, I mean, I don't know, huge number of DVDs that go with that package. So he got the old, he's 18 months in the trade. I'm like, what's your name and why'd you do that? He goes, Mike, I watched your story and then I clicked on the video about your products and how you constructed your products. And I knew that I'm going to be able to learn from you and I'm going to be successful. So that I just went over to his Instagram page and I just thought, let me just take a look at it. I just did it today. Generators, you know, electrical installations, code book. You can see the code book there. Oh, Corvette, house and a Corvette. Oh, my wife said, oh, I guess he's going to get a red Corvette if he doesn't have one. There's a Corvette, there's a red Corvette, there's a red Corvette. He's in a boat. There's another red Corvette. I'm Devon. You can do amazing, man. You got the right attitude. So that's Devon. And then this is Electric Mags on Instagram. I guess her name is Margaret, and this is her JATC notification, the electrical joint apprenticeship training, and then she scored a 93.7 out of a scale of 100 to be able to get into the IBEW. And there she is right there. It's her first post. It was so cute. Is that she's trying to find clothes to be an electrician. And she's trying to have clothes that's a girl clothes, but not, like a girly clothes. I mean, so you got to go to her. And then if you go all the way home, let's see if we can get here. She has 8,600 followers. She doesn't say this, but she got in the trade, I think it was in October 2018. So what's that? 18 months like Devon. And so you take a look at her posts, and she's on fire. Let me see if some cool comments she has in here. It was one I saw that was really cool. Oh, here's one. She's highlighted an electrical contractor magazine. I mean, how cool is that? Listen, if you're a girl, we want you here. We want you in the trade. Margaret here. She's not the first, okay? She just happens to be somebody I found that's an apprentice, that she's making a commitment. And the last person I want to highlight is Chad Germain. He's an electrician, he's an instructor, and he's out there doing all he can on the Instagram, and he has 17,000 followers. And if you watch here, I happened to saw it, I'm like, oh, I wonder what this is all about. So I clicked on that today. He says, he's talking. 1% of your 24-hour day is 14.4 minutes. If you spend 1% of your 24-hour day learning more about the NEC or in a theory book or videos, how much more would you know about this wonderful industry called electrical? So he's inspiring. He's letting you know. You need to have that. And then I saw another point. Oh, this one here, life skills. Choose a mentor, someone who has walked a walk you want to walk. Go where you want to go. Follow their steps, even their morals and standards. They did get where they are off of hard work alone. It's how they are, how they act, and most importantly, how they treat others. Mike Holt Enterprises has high standards. There's nothing wrong with that. He is direct, nothing wrong with that. My point is this. There's people out there that want to help you. They want to make a difference in your life in so many ways. That doesn't mean there's not going to have distractors. When you decide to become an electrician, oh, you don't want to do that. You should go to college. You should do this. Listen, don't pay attention to them. Trust me, this is a great industry, and we need you, and we want you, and we'll embrace you. But it's not going to be easy. So, Brian, do we want to have Dave tell us a story about getting? All right, so why don't we have Dave give us a little perspective? Dave just sent me an email, and I guess I said something, and he got passionate. I thought, you know what, Dave? Maybe you can say something to these people that are wondering about this. Do I go to college? Do I go become a mechanic? What do I do? Become an electrician. All right, go ahead.
All right, David, are you on the line with us?
Yeah, can you hear me all right?
Yeah, we can hear you great.
Okay. So, just to kind of reinforce what everybody else said, yeah, I think it's most of all it's about attitude because that's uh, that's how I finally ended up, being a good electrician. I didn't ever plan to be an electrician when I got started. I did always wanted to work in construction work, and so I started doing that. My first job was pouring concrete, and I did that for a while and worked on up into to framing and building houses, and um, spent some time working on a house that happened to be the homeowner was an electrician, and he would come to work in the afternoons, and he would be working on his house. And at the time, I wasn't married, and so I just hang out there and do some work with him, and make a little bit of extra fun money. And we got finished with his house, and I said, I, I think I like doing this. I think you got to give me a job. And he says, well, yeah, that's a good idea. And so off I went to work with as just a owner operator, just a real small outfit. And then that went on for about a year. And then because of a series of unfortunate events for him, a big contract that he had for doing a condo project just went away, and he didn't have any work. And so 6 months worth of work just went away in one day. And he said, I don't know what I'm going to do. And I said, well, I was looking for a job when I found this one. I'll be all right. And heard about another contractor that was looking for some help, and so I showed up on somebody's doorstep and just said, I hear you're looking for an electrician because you just had a guy quit, and his name was Joe. And Joe said, yeah. And he said, what can you do? And I said, well, anything you tell me to do.
Dave, you're going to have to tell us something to really inspire somebody. We got
Yeah.
that part, but I hate to cut you off. But what can you tell
No.
these young people about them being, getting in it and being successful?
Well, what I learned was that everybody that thinks electricians know it all, there's plenty of electricians that don't. And so if you apply yourself and you really dig in and you learn about the trade and you learn about theory and you learn how this all works, you will be not only an electrician, but then amongst your other electricians, you're going to be somebody who is more respected, who gets asked all the questions, who gets sent out to tackle problems that everybody else says can't be handled. And it doesn't take anything more than just an attitude that says, I can learn how to do this.
Comment right here, if Mike, if you don't mind.
Yeah, Brian, go ahead.
Just speaking as a business owner, I had not a big company, but I had quite a few employees, and I think Dave hit the nail on the head, and that is, as a business owner, I'm just looking for guys that want to learn. And Dave, I know that you had mentioned in some conversation that guys kind of gave you a little bit of a hassle earlier on, and then you had the opportunity to get in with a group of guys that just kind of groomed you and really helped you learn the trade. And I think if anything out of your story, you're right. That is the guy that employers are looking for. And I think what I took away from talking to you was this, that we as an industry and the guys that are new, who are the guys that are really listening to this, we need to really make sure that we have a thirst and a passion for people that are trying to learn, and that we facilitate that and we don't let people put that down. And I think, Mike, you're passionate about that as well.
Yep. All right, well, let's close this up. Who can you work for? You decide, you know what, I'm going to try. Well, we talked about going to the IBEW or JATC.org and IEC.org, Independent Electrical Contractors, doing all that other stuff. And you finally get a job, you can get with us independently. If you can't get another organization, we will help get you the skills so that you can get that first job. Now, where can you go? Look, you can work construction. I've worked primarily construction. I'm not a maintenance kind of guy. That's just not my mentality. It's too slow. You can do service work. I was a service electrician. I think I did that for like about a month and I got fired. Because a service electrician is You got to really, not that I couldn't be a good service electrician. I didn't have any, I went from a journeyman to a service truck. I didn't have the experience. So you can be in a truck and every day you're going to 3 or 4 different jobs. You got all these different scenarios, man. That has to be one of the coolest of all jobs, being a service electrician. That is cool. Maintenance. So guys like, I don't like all this. Just want to go to the hospital. I just want to go for the city or the state or the federal government. I just want to, check in and check out. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? You can be a teacher. You can be an instructor. You can become a lead foreman, a lead man, a foreman, a project manager. Of course, women lead all the time. So, I mean, I can't tell you how many people in my classes that are women that are electrical contractors. And of course, listen, women are smarter than guys. That's just a fact. Women are more careful, they're more detailed, they're more aware, they pay attention to everything. That's a fact. Women look at guys thinking, how the heck do you guys even function? And we don't even know how we function, but somehow we do. But a woman contractor, well, become an electrician, work your way up, very successful because they're into that kind of, a lot of women are into that kind of detail. An estimator, maybe you like to be in an office and you like to be taking these blueprints and plans. Maybe you want to be an electrical contractor. My son's an electrical contractor. He loves it. Listen, it's not an easy job being an electrical contractor. Yes, you can make some good money. Huge amount of responsibility. That means that, see that book, pile of books here? You got to read all that, and then you got to get into the business books. We also produce the business books on how to be a successful contractor. National labs, engineering, work for labs, a State Department. We've done seminars for the State Department up in Washington, D.C., and these electricians travel, I think there's like 160 embassies around the world. There's electricians. I've taught them all. They come into Washington. I come up there and I teach all these guys. Then they travel all over the world with the embassy. So if you want to travel the world and do electrical work, great. FBI. The FBI called me like about a month ago. I just told Brian this afternoon. He said, hey, Mike, this is Bill Jones from the FBI. And I'm thinking, right, the FBI is calling me. I just want to tell you, really appreciate everything you're doing. I'm thinking, what's going on with the FBI? And he goes on, he goes, he says, we're using your curriculum here. We have the coronavirus going on, and so we're slowed down and this and that. And I'm thinking, I said, why are you using my curriculum in the FBI? And he goes, Mike. He goes, FBI agents have to be electricians also. He goes, we do a lot of stuff that I can't tell you what we do, but we have electricians that are FBI agents because we do things and we need to know about electricity. And I thought, that's cool. And then, of course, you could do low voltage industrial work. I mean, it's anything. You can be an engineer, anything you want to. Just get in the trade, get started, whether you're a female or you're a male, whether you're good at math, not good at math, it doesn't matter because in the industry, we want you there. And when you're not doing your job that well, we're going to beat you up. We're going to get you going. And guess what's going to happen? You're going to be so excited. When you take my curriculum program, first thing I do is you're going to read this book called The Slight Edge. Even if you do nothing else, read this book called The Slight Edge. And this is by Jeff Olson, O-L-S-O-N. He just so happens to be Mike Holt. That's just the way I am. I didn't know there was such a book. So, I'm excited for you. And that's all I got to say. Unless, Brian, anybody else, any closing comments from any streaming comments?
Mike, we got a couple of comments that I would like to go back to, actually. There's a couple of things. Number one, we got a comment from Tony, actually, that works for us. And she does our copy editing. And she says, hey, Mike, many of us are math challenged. Perhaps we do better with English, which is helpful when trying to understand code rules. Let them know, even if you're math challenged, just keep trying and you'll get the hang of being able to perform electrical calculations, and your command of the English language will help you apply the calculations. And, it's interesting to me because, obviously I work with Tony just like you do, but to see the things that Tony works through, she forces me and to be better at what I do. And I realize that each of us actually has a spot in this industry. There is got to be a Mike Holt in the industry, right, to lead a certain type of teaching. There's also got to be somebody that's out there. I've got guys on here, hey, we need generator technicians. Hey, we need instructors. Hey, we need this. Hey, we need that. There's a spot in the industry. And I think the biggest thing that young people need to understand is You go in and you work hard. You're not going to walk right into a $100,000 a year job. What you need to do is you go in, you work your butt off, and prove to the people that are watching that you're somebody. Because I can tell you, when I had young guys come work for me, the ones that I promoted immediately were the ones that were trying to learn and cared, not the guy that knew the most. I wanted the guy that knew when he didn't know something and knew where to go to get it or knew to ask a question. And that really, that's the key to success. And I didn't even think about it until I read Tony's comment. And I was like, that's what all these guys that are getting into the trade need to understand. It's hard work. It is hard work, but you will go somewhere if you apply yourself.
Well, listen, we all have weaknesses. And that's okay to be whatever it is, because in this trade, we'll work with you in that. As a matter of fact, I had dinner with a gentleman, and I have dinner with him about every year up in Boston. And Brian, you were there with me. You've been a few dinners with us in there. He pays his project managers over $250,000. And he can't find them. Mike, I can't find them. Now, understand something. It doesn't matter him just giving somebody $250,000. Well, these people are Mike Holt students. These people have taken the training program. These people have the attitude. These people are working hard. They are producing. My point is, whatever you want to go in this trade, wherever you want to go there, the industry is going to absorb you, whether you go through the union, whether you go through the non-union electrical contractors, or whether you do it in independent track, just individually yourself and providing our training programs, wherever it's going to be, that we need you. We need leaders. We need you to be continuing education because we want you to come in the industry. Thank you for watching
Got
this
one
video.
last comment from Eric before you cut out, and he put this on here, and I'm so glad he did. He said, if you think you can or if you think you can't, you're right. You need to believe in yourself. And I think that's the number one thing. I think you are where you're at in the industry today because no matter where you were at, you didn't worry about your failures. You didn't worry about what you couldn't do. What you did is you focused on what was ahead of you. And you believed that you could get somewhere, and you just kept trying and kept doing. And I think the young people, Eric, thank you for that. That's what you need to take away from this is if this is something that you think you want to do, you need to latch onto it, believe you can do it. There are a lot of people out there that will help you get there. A lot of people.
And guess what? You don't need to be young.
That's true.
You can be 20, 30, 40, 50 years old. All you need to do is have a passion and have an excitement. I got so much to tell you, but I don't want to hold you all up. I just want to say thank you. If you watch this video, God bless. And I hope to see you in one of my seminars.